Attention, fighters, lovers of life. It is the Yeah Come On Show podcast. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of show business. I'm Southside Steve, your host. My co-host, Jeff Cole.
How you doing?
All right, that was creepy.
Well, that was Joey Tribbiani. It was.
How you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing? How you doing?
No, it just came out, you know?
It did just come out. I love it. And you know what? I love the way Jeff is a long sleeve, pop the collar, dress shoe, jean man, and I continue to bring this show down wearing shorts, but everything's nice.
Well, as the hardest working man trying to get into show business, I have to be dressed up at all times because you never know who you're going to meet on the street.
You don't.
That's my my thought process over the past 30 years is I could run into Martin Scorsese.
You could.
Like, you could be in my next movie. I mean, isn't that how it works?
Yeah. No, it's not.
It does not.
It does not.
No.
But here's the great thing about this podcast. And Jeff and I, we're excited. We're a two-man show on a radio show called My Fox FM is the app you can hear us on. But the show's called the Southside Ride. And we work hard on that. And we're a two-man team. Jeff has a wonderful day job, and I'm on the hustle. So it's very interesting when we come because we're both doing exactly what we want to do, but we love talking to people that are doing exactly what they want to do. Now, is it always the smartest thing to do?
No.
I mean,
that's we're getting the good stories and the bad.
That's it. Because like right now, and I kid you not, hand to goodness. Notice how I didn't say God because I didn't want to go there. Because, God shouldn't be helping me make money. God wants me to be healthy and a good person. Not
he don't help your show business career?
I don't know. Does God want me to have a big house and a really, really nice car and go on nice vacations? Or does he want me to barely make it to Panama City? I don't know. What do you think?
I think he wants it.
All right,
that's what they preach, right? God wants abundance for everybody.
Hand to God. I'm going there now. But no, I can help you sell your business. I work with a group of investors that are very, very powerful. They like me for my crazy personality. But if you have any type of business and you're considering even selling a business, you can contact me on my socials. We are helping a lot of people do that. So if you've done something and the spaghetti stuck and you didn't leave a stain on the wall, but it's time to stop. Do you know a lot of successful businesses, and this could happen to us, kids don't want to follow in their parents' footsteps. They want to do something different. So they've got these successful businesses, and they're like, all right, time to sell, time to own a really nice beach house and relax. I mean, think about it. But Jeff and I have a radio show. We're going to bring more to this. You're going to get the podcast. You're going to get in concert. You're going to get off the field. And you're also going to get, instead of stand-up, I'm thinking about doing 3-minute comedy runs sitting in a chair. So sit down instead of stand-up. What do you think? I just thought of that now. I thought of it right now.
Sit down. The Come On Show.
Sit down instead of stand-up.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to trademark that. What's the day's date? It is the 21st. I just want people to know that I said it. You're my witness.
Okay.
It's my business. So I'm going to put sit down. I think that's a good thing. Comedians that sit down. Maybe they're older.
It just sounds like you're doing a sit-down interview. It sounds like if it was going to it'd be like the sit-down. It sounds like you're just going to interview. Okay. But there's something there.
So you're poking holes in it.
There's something there with doing the opposite stand-up, sit-down. I get it. We just got to figure out a way to make it where it's comedy, stand-up comedy, sitting down.
And then we're going to help people with businesses where you only got $20,000 or $30,000. And I like no-collar, blue-collar businessman, but we've heard that's not funny, so we're working on a name there. So you're literally seeing us do what our guests have done. And the thing is, do you trademark it? Is it a website? Is it a business? Do you have a business license? Are you an LLC? Are you a C Corp? What are you doing? Are you using your money that should be for your kids' college? Are you single and you can't be in a relationship because you don't have enough money, but you keep throwing stuff at the wall? Or do you have a wife and now you're on a second mortgage because the last two businesses haven't worked? I'm not implying that on our next guest, but that's what this show's all about. Success stories and people still trying to do it. There's humor in it no matter what. Sometimes you got to laugh. But the person I'm about to bring on now, I met and started working with 23 years ago. His name is David Oblas. David came to me and said, hey, would you want to be the ring announcer for one of my fights? I'm like, never done that. Before I knew it, I would do multiple venues we'll discuss. I would do boxing, mixed martial arts, Muay Thai. I would dive into this and do it with him for probably 15 to 17 years, and then I took a break. Now I'm back. I'm going to do my first fight with him in over 10 years. I haven't seen the fighters' names. I haven't wrapped my mind around it, but it happens this week. But we're going to tell you the story of how somebody went from Undisputed Productions to the NFC, how one person put this together, and we're going to find out his trials and tribulations in the green room now from the NFC, David Oblas.
What's up, sir?
How you doing, buddy? All right,
terrific
man.
intro.
Dave used to have, they weren't judges. So you have judges, you have your referees, and then you had these guys off to the side. And I don't know what they kept up with. And then you had film crew. Our worlds really collide. Kevin Green, my buddy, who did The Greenskeeper and The Sorority, the movies I was in, the independent films, started filming for David in the corners at Wild Bill. So we have all put our worlds together. But these guys used to make bets on how many times I would mess up.
And later in the night, you'd mess up more as you got more drunk.
I did. So I started backing off back then with the Jack and Cokes. Now it is our primary sponsor. It is Yeah Come On Bourbon Whiskey by Legends. This is my 80 proof. And I will be shameless and tell you, coming up August 24th, we have our 2-year anniversary, and I'm going to do a two-year bottle that is a smoky 100 proof. That'll be at Legends. You can get your tickets now because we're all about promoting. But right now you see the NFC. This is one of the many championship belts, and this is a company that David, I guess, a name that you went with, but before that, you were Undisputed Productions. So what I want to know, how did you get into this? What were you doing for a living, and what led you for the pursuit of show business?
So I've always been a huge fight fan, and I will probably talk for too long, so let me know when I'm cut off.
Jeff does that. He does that with me on there. He does this, or he does 4 or 5.
I'm not going to pay attention when you do that. But I was a huge fight fan. My dad got me into Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, all that, and we didn't have the money to order pay-per-views back then. So we figured out, my brother,
I didn't either. I went to parties for it.
Yeah,
if somebody's having a party.
Yeah, I used to go to like Tony's on Hokenbridge Road when I was...
Or Wild Bill, or not Wild Bill's. I went to Rupert's.
Yeah.
Rupert's before I even started bartending there and saw boxing fights there. It was the only way to see them.
Yeah, so my brother figured out if you cut a milk carton, you cut a slice of a milk carton, you can jam it in your cable box, and we could get the pay-per-views back then. We couldn't get the audio.
The milk carton.
The milk carton. You shove a piece of, and this was when we were in middle school or high school, you shove a piece of milk carton in the top of your cable box, and you could get pay-per-view fights. So that's what we do. You didn't get the audio, and you didn't get it in color. You got it in black and white. But we could watch Tyson. We could watch Julio Cesar Chavez, Evander Holyfield, whatever. So that's how I grew up, being a poor Jew stealing pay-per-views back in the days.
I was a poor Catholic.
Yeah, and now we're both wealthy.
Yeah.
Then I went to Auburn. I was that guy at Auburn that joined a fraternity, and I'd be the guy that get $5 for everyone. In the fraternity, I'd give me $5. I'll order the pay-per-view fights tonight on the big screen in the living room. I'll go get his pizza. I'll go get his beer.
So you were a promoter in high school, college.
Right. I didn't even know it back in college, but that's what I started doing.
All right.
I worked for a Northside, it was called the Northside Neighbor, owned by the Marietta Daily Journal in Buckhead. Covered high school sports after graduating, and I worked there Monday through Friday. The guy in front of me, his name was Matt Monroe. He was extremely loud. He was almost your level, probably.
I am loud. Matter of fact, Jeff always
loud.
tells me in sound checks, okay, a little less on the projection.
Yeah, so
but I am loud.
He'd work at the desk in front of me, and he'd always be talking to his father, Doug Monroe, who was also a creative loafing and AJC writer, about these boxing events he'd go to. And he was an inspector with the Georgia Athletic Commission. You go backstage, watch the fighters wrap their hands, you sign off on it, walk them to the ring. I thought greatest job in the world. You get paid $50 to do it back then. I was like, oh my God, where do I apply?
$50 for the whole night?
The whole night, $50. So I said, where do I apply? I did that right away. I started watching boxing. I mean, the stories I could tell in about 3 years of doing that job, I saw boxing rings collapse and the whole event canceled. And of course, those shady promoters would not refund money. I saw an ambulance take a fighter away. The ambulance never came back. The rest of the night was canceled. No one gets their money back. I've seen 10 boxing fights in the night where everyone gets knocked out in 30 seconds. It's all just BS fights that build records. The worst one I saw was you have to have a fight doctor, cage side. That had to be a qualified fight doctor.
Do you still have the same doctor?
I still have Dr. Traub.
Dr. Jeff Traub.
If you can break it, he can fix it.
That's right. I say that all the time, and Jeff Traub has worked on my brother not once but twice. My brother, we were all soccer players, and he did his ML
That's awesome.
or whatever it is. What is it called?
ACL,
MCL. He did one on each leg, and Traub put him back together.
So I've still got Dr. Traub, but I went to a boxing event years ago. They had a gynecologist as the ringside physician. The whole event was canceled. You can't have a vagina doctor as your fight doctor. That's not qualified.
No, I know the Olympics got in a lot of trouble on that or something. There was we won't even get into it. Remember the guy that touched everybody, went to jail forever? The Olympic doctor was checking out all the gymnasts and everything. You know? Yeah, I don't want your fighters. You only have some girls fighting, right?
Well, that doctor's not even qualified to give stitches. So that's the problem. They can't.
Because I've seen stitches, dude. I've seen over the years. There's a couple dudes. I remember that one guy from Georgia Tech in a fight, dude. He swole up. I was like, I mean, it was like Elephant Man. I'm like, dude, you need to go to a hospital.
Yeah. So everything I saw wrong in a boxing event, I saw for 3 years as an inspector. And then I joined a cardio boxing gym here in Atlanta, became friends with a couple fighters, and just, hey, the events I've been to are horrible. You know, I'm a 23-year-old guy waiting tables at night and working a newspaper, and they all turned to me and said, you know.
What newspaper?
Northside Neighbor is owned by the Marietta Daily Journal.
All right, he said Northside twice. I'm Southside Steve. If you say it 3 times, you're off the show. You're killing
We're
me.
just going to call it the neighbor.
The neighbor.
The neighbor. So I put on an event. I was 26 years old. I was the youngest fight promoter ever in the state of Georgia. The AJC put me on the cover of the sports edition as youngest fight promoter ever at age 26. It was June 26, 2002. It was at the Roxy in Buckhead. You were the announcer. Sold out. But
Is that the first fight I did for you?
It was.
2002.
2002 is when it started for Southside Steve. And yeah, you grabbed me off 96 Rock and it was really cool. Did you do a buy on the radio station or just hire me? I'm trying to remember.
Can't remember what I did. I don't remember how I got a hold of. I don't know how I came to you.
I don't either. I don't know how we got introduced, but I'd never done it, and I was up for everything. At that time, it may have been soccer. I was doing play-by-play for the Atlanta Silverbacks.
Yeah.
And I was doing that. I did that for 7 years, and I hosted halftime, did the intro, player introductions, and did the play-by-play. So I think it was through soccer. Somebody told you that I was good on the mic and I should be able to wing it, and I was on, the regular guy's morning show. So I think that's how it happened, if I remember correctly. But I remember I'm going to Gainesville.
Painesville and Gainesville.
And it was a great name, and we did it, and you gave me my check, and I was like, cool. And then you told me to hold my check.
Yeah. So
for like 2 months.
Yeah, so going back to my first event, June 26, 2002, I lost $7,500.
Ouch.
My dad wrote me a check for $7,500, and he said, if you do another fight, you can cash this check. If you don't do another fight, you give me the check back.
So your father was pushing you.
He was pushing me.
Wow.
To do something you did horribly.
Exactly. I was sucked at it. I had a daytime job. I had a nighttime job.
That's like Jeff is a singer. It's the same.
Yeah.
Or as an actor.
Well, yeah.
Am I going too deep?
Yeah, well, I can't sing. We know this.
Yeah. But this is people that refuse to give up, and that is what this podcast is all about. I dig it.
That's so great having that support. So
your father
he was
told
really
you to
behind you that he wanted to see you succeed in this.
Yeah, I guess
he didn't think it was a fantasy show business thing.
Yeah.
He thought you could really do this if you're passionate about it.
Yeah, and I guess he didn't want me waiting tables forever. So.
No, I remember when I did radio, and I started getting into it. I was dating a girl, and she's like, do you really think you're going to get on the radio? Because I was at college, and I was doing it because I wanted to do stand-up. So I was doing 88.5, not to be on the air, but just get used to being on a microphone. And then I said, you know what? There's a shot at this. Maybe I could look at radio. She goes, there's only 5 people on any radio station, and she named them like on 96 Rock or a morning show of 3. You think you're going to be one of 8 people that's going to be that person? And she literally broke up with me over it because that was my dream. Then I find out later she had dated Ed Roland of Collective Soul, and she quit dating him because he thought he could be a rock star. Now, we both made it in our careers. I think she would have been better off with Ed, for sure. But it's funny when a parent pushes. Even my parents weren't sure about it, but once I got on college radio and started, they kind of backed it. So that's cool when a parent can help. I think that's important on anything. You got to have somebody, whether it's your parents at a young age or your partner now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were married, the wife's got to be in, man, or it is hell on earth.
Yeah. I mean, that show lost $7,500. I had to take the check to do a second show. Second show, I think, lost $6,500.
Was I on that one too?
You were on that one.
God.
You probably charged me too much.
I probably did.
But then my dad said, I'm not covering that one. You're on your own now. So I lost $6,500.
I'll tell you what I was charging David. I was charging David $600. That was my fee. But let me tell you, $600 would normally be a 2-hour gig, $300 an hour.
This is a 5-hour gig.
This is a 5-hour gig in which also there was a level of unpreparedness. And Dave's like, dude, whatever you think. And I'm like, so I'm going, okay, how do I visualize this? How do I think people should be brought in the ring? How do I think my cadence should be? What should I say? So I kind of made it my own. So if you came, it was my version, then he would have input, but I had to go and run to these fighters and say, how do you say your name? Are you Russian? What? Because if you say a fighter's name wrong, they don't like it.
So how are you finding these fighters? Like when you first started?
That's a great question. Where do they come from?
Yeah, when you're like an unknown, hey, I'm putting together a fight night wherever, Gainesville.
Yeah.
How do you get them to come?
So back then it was much more difficult. Back then we didn't have Facebook, Instagram, all the other communication ways. So back then, like I said, I had a job. I had to make calls, during my lunch break. I'd had to make emails after I got off work. I'd have to go to each gym. We didn't even have contract software. I'd have to go to every gym and have them sign contracts. Go to every gym and take photos with my own camera.
And you had to have an attorney draw up that contract.
I had an attorney draw everything up.
That's not cheap either.
But we didn't have iPhones back then. So to make a fight poster, I'd have to drive to every gym to take photos of every fighter. But back then, there had to be a level of convincing guys because I only done a couple shows. Now it's easy. I've been doing it 23 years. I'm the #1 fight promoter in the Southeast, #1 in Georgia without a doubt. More shows, 10 to 12, than any other promoter in the history. More streaming networks, more fans, more venues.
In a popular sport. So I think you're to the point something could really stick. It's sticking now.
Yeah.
You were leaving stains on the wall when you and I started, but yeah, it started to stick. So I think there is attention. We know how popular UFC is.
Yeah, and the good thing is COVID changed a lot for me. It went down a lot, obviously, when it was shut, but then when it came back, it's been the best, whatever. I don't even know how many years we call it, 4 years now. But every venue I'm a part of loves me, loves my staff, loves the fighters, and that's something that has grown over time. But every venue I'm a part of says when we do the fights, it's without a doubt their biggest alcohol and food selling night of anything else that they do. So part of my challenge is I've got 3 venues right now.
Is there any way we got to start getting this into your venues?
Yeah, come on. We got to.
God knows. So you're helping these venues.
Yeah, helping the venues, helping the bartenders, hotel rooms, everything else. The fighters make a ton of money. I'm helping exposing the gyms and helping them sell memberships. So it's kind of like I've always heard you say back in the year, make sure you're a bridge builder, not a bridge burner. That's a very important thing. I can go to any venue I've ever worked with and scale a venue up or down. But the 3 venues I work with now, my challenge is they want me to do 52 fight nights a year. And I've got 3 venues that want me every single weekend. So that's a challenge, is how to make them all happy.
How often can a fighter fight?
So automatic suspended 30 days. If you get beat down, knocked out, whatever, it's 30, 60, 90 days. So we try to do no more than about every other month on average.
So if you lose and you got hit, you're 60 90 days out.
Yeah.
Because you can't take another hit.
So, I'm at the challenge right now. I've got venues that want me to do more events than I can do. I've got so many fighters, I could put 60 fights on a fight card. I've got other states that want me right now. Like, the NFC has expanded dramatically in the last 4 years, and it's going to expand the next 4 years.
Yeah, I think some of these fights and some of the the Vegas stuff and people that it's just there's too many big names now. It's boxing. Is boxing left us?
Boxing kind of comes and goes. Boxing is nothing but the big names. It's nothing but the Jake Pauls, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And now Nate Diaz has tried to do it. Jorge Masvidal. Like, boxing.
But then you see a guy like Tyson's going to come back,
which is disgusting at 58 years old. Boxing's like where old fighters go because there's only one way to fight, and that's with your hand with bigger gloves. Right now I've got MMA fights. I've got jiu-jitsu events that we do at Monday Night Garage. We call them brew-jitsu instead of jiu-jitsu. We're doing one during...
Because you got to play on words.
Play on words. And we're doing brew-jitsu during October So I've renamed that Boo-Jitsu. Boo-Jitsu.
Yeah, and I look at, while we're talking, I don't want to open.
You can open them. That's why I brought them.
Yeah.
I brought you large and extra large.
Put that on, Jeff. I want you to see, I'll put on one too.
Yeah.
But how much padding, is there enough padding? We know.
It's only 4 ounces. There's not a lot of padding. So unvelcro the top.
What's the padding in a boxing glove?
Boxing glove, if you're under 147, it's 8 ounces. Over 147, 10 ounces. These are only about 4 ounces. That's 4 ounces for the whole thing. So that's not a lot of padding.
This is practically street fighting.
This is a fist fight.
Yeah.
I mean, there is something here. What is this padding here to do? Protect the hand or the face?
It's to do one, two. Protect your hand from being broken. So the guys that do bare knuckle right now, their hands are breaking almost every fight. So it's protect the hand and hopefully protect the face from getting too cut up. You still are going to get cut, but a little less.
Yeah, and a hit is a hit, and it's intense. And a lot of these guys want to go to ground or they want to get in a fist fight, and I've seen it happen. And some of the girl fights are your biggest fights.
The girl fights, I always say, don't run out of gas very early. Girl fights, the women know how to save their energy to go 3 rounds.
Yeah, and what I want to show you right now, this is me. Dave brought me in. I didn't ring announce this one. I came in as a fighter, and I had 4 weeks to prepare. And there was a guy, Jeff, at 88.5 at Georgia State, and I knew him there, and he was also at my gyms, Gene's Body Tech. And he was a guy that didn't fight for Dave, but he did Muay Thai, and he did some mixed martial arts, but he kind of just knew it. And I'm like, I need help. He goes, I'll train you. So I get intense training for 5 weeks, mainly learning kicks, the left, the right kick, and blocking, something like this. But it's like I got the kick down. Even he said, he goes, because I'm a soccer player. He goes, dude, that's a hard kick. I'm like, left foot's stronger than the right, only because I learned to kick left-footed. So he was like, well, that's your secret. So we're working on it, and Dave's like, you're fighting a woman. I'm like, dude, it's the South. I cannot fight or hit a chick. What are you setting me up for? And he's like, it's Sherry.
Sherry the bitch Thompson.
Sherry the bitch Thompson. Dave put me in a fight with her at the Civic Center. About 7,000 people is what it held. And I'm looking up, this place is packed, Jeff. I'm on 96 Rock. I got Marine guys are coming in. Later would be a film guy for him, Kevin Green. Jeff Kinsler, one of the guys. I got a sales guy. I got another dude that's filming it, that's a sales guy. And I go in 3 rounds, 1 minute, and I'm like, dude, I need to meet with this girl. So they go, okay, we'll let you meet. So she goes, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to roll. Here's how I'm going to roll. You roll with me. So it was kind of like wrestling. She was teaching me.
It was a little bit staged?
It was going to be a little staging. And I'm like, okay, I got it. Well, we're back before walking out, and I'm trying to have a fun conversation. She's like, and I'm like, chick ain't talking to me, joking. I'm like, so now the first round you want me, and she's like, yeah, hurry. And I'm like, this chick is freaking. And I'm looking at my guys, I go, man, I think she's coming after me. We get in the ring, the first thing she does a kick, and she's about 5'7". She does a kick over my head, and it misses. It goes, I felt the wind. And then she did one of those, and I'm like, what? And then she comes up, and she literally punches me, and I'm wearing no padding, punches me right in my forehead as hard as she can. And it stunned me. And I was like, we're off the beaten path. It was a fight for my life. Thank you, David. She's since passed.
She has.
Yeah, I don't know how she passed, but I know her mother wanted the video. We got it to her, and she wanted to see it. She said Sherry always enjoyed fighting me. But it was a crazy thing, and that's just some of the stunts we pulled. And I will tell you, are your fighters on bee pollen? Because one of our sponsors is Joe Bees. Go to Joe Bees, JOEBES.com. Spelled like it is, joebees.com. I'm on bee pollen. I take 2 capsules a day. Are you on bee pollen?
It's funny because
you need to be on bee pollen.
I was going to ask you about that. Since I've had my spine surgeries, I got fat and lazy, and I can't sleep and everything else. I didn't know if I should ask you during this or after, but I was going to ask you about that because I have heard you plugging it for a very long time.
joebees.com. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, it works, dude. It's a game changer. Gives you energy, makes you feel better, and it is crushed my allergies to the point I have almost no issue.
I don't have allergies. I've just been lazy. So I had 3 spine
It'll get you going.
I had 3 spine surgeries in 18 days last year, plus 10 days in a hospital with infection that they gave me. Since then, I've done almost nothing. I've had no energy. So
all right, well, you might even be mental right now.
I probably am.
All right, here's the other thing. Our other sponsor, Mark Well Therapy.
Give them all to me.
I'll give it. MarkwellTherapy.com. I never knew there would be a person on our show that can use every one of our sponsors.
Tell me about Oxygen Financial. I got money to put away.
I'm going there too. But no, David Markwell of MarkwellTherapy.com. David Markwell has got 2 locations. One's in Marietta, the other Blue Ridge, and there are people out there suffering with mental illness of some kind. Maybe you had a herniated disc. Maybe you're not allowed to jog anymore and you were a runner. Dave used to run the Peachtree. Don't let him kid you.
And a marathon.
Now he's not allowed to run anymore. Things like that can really mess with your psyche and mess with who you are, because now your life is a different life. And you can't live in the past. We all know that you got to wake up and live in the present. So go to MarkwellTherapy.com. David Markwell can definitely help you.
To help you sleep at night, I take 2 shots of Yeah Come On whiskey, and I get right to bed.
Yeah, and it can help you as a lover, a sleeper, or make you feel better about yourself. Just don't ever drink alone. If you drink alone, I think that makes you an alcoholic. Am I wrong on that, Jeff? Do you drink alone? Because you're the alcoholic on this show.
Yeah, I do.
See, that's a problem.
But no, only if you get sloshed and blackout. Well, I do that sometimes.
You do that
alone too.
I've seen it. He gets blacked out.
It doesn't start that way. But yeah, if you do it all the time, I don't do it all the time. I'll have a few glasses of wine normally by myself if I'm alone. But for the most part, when I go out, I'm with people, and that's when I can't. That's why I can't drink that anymore.
Oh yeah, and another sponsor I want to mention. Do you ever have fighters with eye issues, like other eye problems, like getting hit?
They do, and I not only did I see your Facebook, but I was going to ask you about that. So
Diamond Vision.
Yeah, Diamond Vision.
DiamondVision.com. Diamond Vision's located in Tucker, Georgia. That's Dr. Stephen W. Stetson of Diamond Vision. And I can tell you right now, if you need LASIK or you have any eye issues whatsoever, get it checked out. And also, he can help you too if you have dry eye. And a lot of times people have issues with dry eye.
And you've had the surgery, because I can't see far things anywhere. I got to wear glasses all the time.
Can you see this?
I can see that.
Sorry.
But you've had the surgery to fix other things, haven't you?
Yeah. That? No, that's fine. That's fine. No.
I was only speaking the eyes.
No, I got one of those in Macon, Georgia. AA Med Center. Or Med Clinic. I just messed it up. AA Med Clinic. But yeah, I've got one of those I endorse too. So, but those are the endorsements we have right here on the Come On Show, helping out David Oblas. But you've come a long way.
Yeah.
And you talk about the 2 fights where you didn't make money. Then you lived at Wild Bill's the longest. Most people would have seen you. Do you know the years at Wild Bill's? And then you started flirting with cowboys, and was that?
So I think I've also lived through more bad things than any other fight promoter. I guess you call that termination. 9/11, COVID, venues going out of business.
Center Stage. We did a lot at Center Stage.
Center Stage has completely changed the last couple of years. But I was at Wild Bill's, I think, for like 8 years, from 2006 to probably 2012, 13, 14, whenever they went under. And that was kind of where more people associated me. I changed the name to Wild Bill's Fight Night. I was exclusive to just Wild Bill's. I treated them very well. They treated me very well.
So you couldn't do fights anywhere else, because Wild Bill's took you had a fight every 6 weeks.
Yeah, every 6 weeks. And I've had a fight every 6 weeks the last 23 years of my life.
Y'all, you got to realize.
Talk about aging you.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a shit ton.
Yeah.
And that's why we're all about what you're doing and everything that you're going through. And you've done boxing. I've introduced boxing with you.
Yeah, so now I do MMA. I want to be the first promoter in the Southeast that does MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing. I've said I do jiu-jitsu. I'm about to launch bare knuckle fighting. Bare knuckle fighting became legal here in Georgia a month ago, so I'm going to do that.
Dude, that is along the levels of cockfighting, dog fighting. Am I wrong? Bare knuckle fighting, it's a damn fist fight. I mean, we already saw with the gloves, it's close enough.
Yeah.
But dude.
Yeah.
You're going to do bare knuckle fighting.
I think my job is, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm handicapped now. But I'm going to have others do it that want to do it, that are interested. I'm not just going to grab bums from off the street.
And I can do the bum fights.
Not the bum.
Well, we're not corporate radio anymore. Jeff and I are independent radio guys, but the only other independent group is 680 The Fan. I could go fight somebody over there. Maybe me and Buck, the Battle of the Southerners.
So that goes into my other event I'll talk about in a minute. But with the bare knuckle, it just became legal in Georgia.
I love you, Buck. I don't want to hit you. I just made that as fun.
It's huge throughout the country and the world right now, and I believe that NFC should put on anything related to 2 people fighting each other. NFC should put on and do it in a safer format than any other promoters that might be fly-by-night.
How is his fist fighting safe?
You have better venues, you have better insurance, you have better doctors, you have more ambulances, you take care of the fighters afterwards. You know, there's so many things from start to finish.
Yeah, do you take care of them for the next 20 years?
Can't do that. I mean,
that night, we'll tell you how much we care. The next day, screw you.
I will also say paying. Right now, you even look at like a Nate
You better
Diaz.
have insurance.
You look at like a Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz was one of the most popular UFC fighters ever. His contract just ended. He just did a boxing bout that he co-promoted with other groups. Jorge Masvidal, he was supposed to get $10 million. He got $1 million, and now he's suing for the rest. So it also comes down to paying fighters. There was just a fight in Georgia about a year and a half ago, a company called K2S Combat. They said they were going to put NFC out of business. They were going to put on the biggest fights.
You're not putting
Georgia.
NFC out of business.
No, they forgot to bring their checkbook to the event. They came to the event. There was no one in the crowd. They did it at where the basketball team plays. By the
way, you don't need your checkbook with me. Pay me cash. I love it. What's up?
the WNBA.
I love you, IRS.
They did it at the WNBA's basketball arena at College Park. Everyone was excited. This huge venue. There's more people in this living room right now than they had fans there. No fighters got paid. The doctor there didn't know how to do stitches. The fighters that left there had to go back to my doctors to get stitches on Sunday morning because their eyes were coming back open where the stitches were, and it didn't hold, it didn't stay tight. So the doctor was a joke. They didn't pay anyone. They had to liquidate the bond. The fighters are getting a fourth of their money. Took 9 months for them to get paid. So
it's not easy to do.
That's the difference in a good promoter and a bad promoter. That's the difference in taking care of fighters and not taking care of fighters.
Man, so do you see this as a one-off, or do you think if I enjoy it, do you want me back doing some of this, or should I just stick to this anniversary? I'm doing the 23rd anniversary. Yeah. I've said online the 20th. I'm wrong.
So I've been bugging Southside for 3 years. My 20th year anniversary was 3 years ago. I did it outside of the Pink Pony.
Which I spent 19 years at the Pink Pony. Love you, Glardy.
That's why I was trying to get you in there. Dennis Williams knows you. The Pony knows
Dennis,
you.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been perfect. Southside does the 20-year anniversary. I made these gold hard tickets for all the fighters. Every fighter got 2 in the mail. They got to come for free.
At least you had ring card girls.
We had the Pink Pony.
Girls.
Pony. I've now done 3 or 4 fights at the Pink Pony, and I did them all COVID.
I remember you called me asking me about that, and I'm like, You're going to have to do it in the parking lot. You can't do it inside.
So it became the biggest event in the history of the Pink Pony. We probably had 1,400, 1,500 people there. Dennis had told me afterwards. Dennis and I became friends. He said, "Look, I'm going to be honest with you." He said, "Your fight nights have now become the biggest event in the history of the Pink Pony, except for our Super Bowl." I think it's Super Bowl is the only thing.
They did the Super Bowl, and then I hosted the international competition.
Well, I beat
a lot
that.
of the girls, that was you beat that. But then we did it on the Southside location with the 30-foot poles, but that location didn't last long. Yeah. But this is an incredible history, and you've built it. And now the past couple of years coming out of the pandemic, you're in much better financial shape, but you've earned it. Some people spit on that thing.
I have emailed all her social media accounts to get her in. No email back.
Dude, we just saw it. We announced it on, I do Steve MZ.
I heard you talking about her with Jake Paul.
I do Steve MZ. You need, Dave listens to our morning show. You should too, Fox FM. Go to the app, my Fox FM. But no, we were talking about her this last time on stage. There was nothing. There were crickets. I'm wondering if the 15 minutes is fading. So you should be able to get her in Nashville.
Yeah, she'll be ready soon.
But she'll be ready. And Nashville's close, and she might be ready. You may not have to pay
I've
that
emailed
much.
her on her Facebook, her Instagram. It says email at some penthouse company. I email that. I've got nothing back. So
I don't know who's.
I don't know if I'd
her.
go the 30,000 that they're offering. I get close, but I think they're asking 30. I don't know.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
By the way, the fee I asked for, am I on par, or did I ask for too much?
You're right on par. Yeah.
Because I wanted to.
Yeah, you're fair.
I'm ending my vacation in Kiowa early for you. The kids are coming home. No, you can't go to the ocean. Daddy has to go home and work with David and do fights. Real quick, it's closing out. I just want to say, how do people get tickets for your fights, and where do they go if you want to keep up with the NFC?
Yeah, so go to nfcfighting.com. Southside Steve's doing the fight this Saturday at Monday Night Garage, July 27th. I've got one September 20th at the Battery, right next to the Brave Stadium. October 26th at Tannery Row in Buford. That's our Halloween show. We do costume contests. Then I'm back at the Battery next to the Brave Stadium December 13th. And then I haven't started next year, but I've got this year all planned
Tannery
out.
Row is perfect. I've done so many promotions there. I've done Harley stuff, and I've done Rock 100.5 stuff, Halloween shows. It's just a big location.
I've tried to get more creative with all my belts and medals this year. This is a belt we made just for the main event fights at the Battery, the Battle of the Battery. Huge 15-pound belt.
But it's got some weight to it.
It's nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
That we've got. I did a That's our top.
Oh, I'll do 420.
So that's a 420. So I caught a lot of grief on this. The Georgia Athletic Commission came down on me hard.
Really?
But we had a fight that we're looking at April 19th or 20th. And I started thinking, hold on, April 20th is 420. I don't smoke weed, but everyone in the fight community does smoke weed.
Oh, if I'm getting punched in the face, I'm getting high.
Yeah. So we decided to make these 420 marijuana belts, and then I made 420 marijuana medals. So we determined which fights would get to fight for this. It was one of our biggest shows ever. I think next year I've already planned it. Next year 420 is on a Sunday, so we're just doing 419, but we're still going to call it 420.
Of course you are.
I'm looking for a local sponsor to sponsor that.
Oh, there's got to be a local sponsor. Georgia Hemp Company. Hemp Company. I know you guys. I took over for a week when the main guy was out of town, and did turn it. Yeah, come on. Georgia Hemp should definitely endorse 420. I'll help you.
And now my top ticket seller. So there'll be someone Saturday night for this. But any fighter that sells the most tickets, we give them the money belt now, the top ticket seller belt. So just something cool and unique and different. So
why not? You know what? If you can't win, sell tickets.
Yeah. So I've tried to make everything more creative this year.
Oh, now did the Braves get upset at this?
The Braves. So this was something I did at the Battery. So I asked my attorney. I said I need to make an A that looks like the Braves A, but it's not going to be trademarked or copyrighted. So
yeah, that's different enough.
It is different, and it can't be the same PMS color. You get the blue, the shade's got to be off just a little bit.
So the funny thing is I make my belts in Pakistan. I'm not going to tell you the name of the guy in Pakistan, but they always come out a little bit.
This was made in Pakistan?
Made in Pakistan. Make Pakistan great again.
Nobody says that. Dave, come out with a hat. Why not?
Make Pakistan great. So when I order belts and design them, I don't know exactly how they're going to look till I get it in hand. So it looks a little bit different than I designed, but it came out really good.
I think so.
The funny thing is I called it the King of the A because it was a couple months ago. It was the two biggest guys in Atlanta, Lewis Burrington versus Reese Watkins. They've been talking shit for each other for 2 years. We finally got them to fight. I want to make something special, the King of the A. A lot of girls joked with me. They thought the King of the A was the King of the Ass. Like,
oh,
I never thought about that beforehand.
Now, I will bring girls up in the ring. We're going to do a booty dance, and we're going to see who has the King of the A.
Or the Queen of the A.
Or the Queen of the A.
So I never thought about
Everybody
that.
Everybody grab a ring rope, shake it, and I'll just judge asses.
Yeah. So maybe I should have made the King of the ATL. I don't know.
I can do judging asses, and then this.
And then I used to make a little. So I for years made every winner of every fight get some swag. And for years,
you always gave something to them.
I used to make something at Home Depot. I'd go get a chain at Home Depot. I'd go get the S things. I'd sit in my living room and mend it together. Now I order these.
You hear that? He did it himself.
From here in America. These don't come from Pakistan. These come from a local trophy shop.
America.
Yeah, American made.
America.
But just something cool and different to give these fighters some swag to go home with. And like I said, that's the difference in treating them well and not treating them well.
Well, this is a Georgia guy. This is a friend for over 23 years. This is somebody, I will tell you that I did for you, David, and I think I'm spot on this. I think I've done 94 to 95 fights for you.
Jesus.
I did all the ones at Wild Bill's up until about fight 88. I'd missed out on 2 or 3. And then I've got the Painesville and Gainesville. I did 3 or 4 at Center Stage. I did Cowboys twice.
Yeah.
I look back at the memories of 23 years, and I got to tell you, if you're available, and this podcast is obviously dropping days before to get tickets, come and see us. And it's Monday Night Garage. And I want to give them props because I'm sure you will do other fights there.
Yeah.
This podcast will live on forever. So all you have to do is check out the NFC. You see what he's doing, the fighters he's got. I met Forrest Griffin through you, and there's a lot of people that give this guy attention that are major players. And there's UFC, then there's NFC, my opinion, as one of the biggest promoters in the Southeast, definitely in Georgia. His name, David Oblas. My partner here, Jeff Cole, skateboarded with his brother. So we know the Oblases. And to Dave's father in heaven, I say hello. How's your mom?
She's doing well.
Right.
She has my niece staying with her this week. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, good deal. You got to keep them straight. But this is what it's all about. This is the Yeah Come On Show podcast, life, liberty, and the pursuit of show business. And Jeff, how much unsolicited material do you think this guy's thrown out?
Oh, it's got to be tons. Just getting the fighters in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're still doing it to some degree, trying to get the Haktua girl.
You're trying to get hurt.
So
it's always you're trying to get somebody.
To keep it going. Yep.
Who can I bring in to make?
And we've
this
only got
thing
another
pop?
month to give her. After a month, I think she's gone.
Oh, I think she's fading
gone.
now.
Yeah.
I think her price just went half price. If she wanted 30 grand, she's at 15.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you'll get her for 1,000 in a hotel room. Yeah. It'll get low. It's the way life works. You know, you stay on top if you're doing something that people enjoy. And if you haven't seen this, it's an all ages fight. You can literally bring your kids. David's got a bunch of his alums from Auburn. He's a graduate of Auburn, like my lovely wife. So there's going to be a lot of good people at this fight this Saturday. Where do they go to get tickets?
Go to nfcfighting.com.
And that's where you go from here on out if you want to see fights. He's doing one every 6 weeks. It is my friend, David Oblas of the NFC. Can I get it? Yeah, come on.
Yeah, come on.